Welcome to the Business of Soul Searching. My name is Erin, and I invite you to join me as I travel the world challenging risk takers who have soul searched and came out on the other side to tell us their incredible stories. Are you ready for this? All right, everyone, welcome back to the Business of Soul Searching podcast. I have Diana Garlington here with me and her daughter Shavon, and we're really just going to talk about her program that she has going on in Rhode Island. We connected and, we got on the topic of gun violence and just Diana's connection to that and just how amazing her program is. And I felt like my listeners really needed to find out about this program and see if they'd like to get involved. So we're just going to have an open discussion about that. And without further ado, if you could just let people know a little bit about your story and why your program was created.
Thank you for having me, Erin.
Of course.
I'm here today basically because November 26, 2011, my daughter Essence was 21 years old. Unfortunately, she was with a male that committed a crime earlier against someone that he had a problem with. And on that night, he actually drove to my sister's house and forced her into the car to drive him around. She had been trying to get out of the relationship for, I would say, maybe about a month or so prior to this incident. They were driving down Broad Street in Providence, and someone opened fire, hitting the car, and unfortunately only hit Essence, and her two passengers walked away without any scars. The reason why I felt like I had to do something is because I had a lot of anger when that first happened. And I think it was basically tearing me apart and destroying me personally. So I received a call from a community activist one day. His name is Kobe Dennis. Okay. And we had a conversation. He said, I understand you're going through a lot of pain and anger, and, he wouldn't take any of that away from me, but he would think maybe it would be something good if I could try to change it around and make it something positive. So one day he was having an event in Lockwood Plaza at Family Services, and he asked myself and my family to attend, just so that we could, see what was going on in the community and, see if I could get her story out and just make a change. So that day I actually spoke at the event, and my story to me felt as though that it was reaching a lot of the parents that did not want to get out and they didn't want to speak about it, and just the community. So after I spoke, there was a couple of people that came to me after and said, you really have to tell her story to keep her alive, and maybe this will be able to help some of the other youth females in the community that may be going through some sort of, drama or some situation that they can't get out of either. So as time went on, we decided that there was a lot of youth female that were struggling with, violence and just everyday issues that they may not known how to deal with as far as with their parents, because I had a close relationship with Essence. And, for her to have been going through domestic violence, and it was basically right under my eyes, and I didn't know it hurts. So I felt we should do something that would change that. So we decided that we were going to start a foundation in her name, which is now called the Essence Christal Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation, we wanted to reach out to youth females. The program that we started in her name is called the Essence Christal Female Youth Empowerment Program, which is for mentorship, domestic violence prevention and support, advocacy. And we basically just teach them everyday things in the community that they need to deal with. We take them to get their nails done, their hair done, just things to keep them uplifted and let them know that they're important. And they have they have a life that they should think is more important than, just being sort of say drugged down by a male. I'm not saying that all males are like that, but in that particular situation, that's what was happening.
We also have a bowling event we have for her every year in her name.
Wow.
And that money goes towards our youth out here in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So
when is the bowling event typically?
We actually have it'll be our 5th annual this July 8th and
9th.
No, the 8th this year, and it's held at the Lang's Bowlerama in Princeton, Rhode Island.
Okay, yeah.
So that was one of our events that we have. We also last year we had another event which was at Oki's Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
And just every year we decided that we're gonna do this to raise funds because unfortunately right now we don't have grants for it.
Yeah.
So
okay, how long does it typically take to get a grant? Like, do you have to exist for a certain amount of time before they'll recognize you, type of thing?
I believe so because
and we've been around for 5 years.
Yeah,
you would think. It would be
and it's important. It's not like it's just like something else. This is
the thing you have to do is you just have to keep trying. And you have to show yourself and let them know who you are, because if you don't, then
And I would think consistency too, because I'm sure a lot of people start, but they're maybe trying to see how long this is going to. Because if they grant it and then after,
we
keep going.
And not only that, it has to have impact. It has to, be a success. You can't just say that you're going to go out and do these things with your youth and there's nothing positive coming out of it.
Yeah.
I can say that I feel it has been positive. I feel that our community feels that it's positive. We have a lot of support behind us. We do have these events and we raise money, but as I said, it goes towards we feed the females every night.
And we actually have one of our girls from the program that goes to this university, Elijah Williams University.
Wow.
So,
okay. And that's it.
Yeah. So it has been successful, and like I said, the struggle is just the basic needs of having the money put forward to help the youth. But
that's why we have the fundraisers.
And that carries.
Yeah.
Got it.
But even so, I just know that this is where our heart is, and this is what I want to do, and I want to change whatever we can do in the community. I still will provide the services, even if I have to come out of pocket. That's just
because it seems like it's hard work for you.
Because we usually do with the food that's from us, but. It doesn't matter. We just want to make them comfortable. And our program's from 6 to 8, so that's dinner time. So we make sure they don't go home hungry. So
that's good.
And as I said, as far as with bringing them places, they need that because some of the females that we actually had in prior cohorts have never really been anywhere. They don't go out of state. They don't know what the difference is, and just being situated in Providence. They need that. They need to know that there's other things outside of, Providence that they can experience.
That makes sense.
Yes.
And so what was the age group again? Just so
It's
people
13
know.
to 21
13
years
to 21.
of
Okay.
age,
So if they're in that group, and then if someone participates in the program, they graduate in a way, can they then become a mentor?
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Like get in the program on your side now,
yes.
helping with.
We have
we let them
one
volunteer
female
also.
that actually volunteers with us. We've also presented them with jobs. We paid them during 2 females this summer through a program with the city of Providence, and they were paid for their services. So it's just like I said, it's all around community things that they need to learn, that they need to know. They need to know how to do a resume.
Yeah.
They need to know the proper etiquette for the resume. They need to know how to speak when they go on the interview. So it's just a variety of different things. We also have speakers who come in. For instance, we've had 2 FBI agents, female. We try to keep it right in that persona. We've also had detectives. We've had just community advocates, dental hygienists, just to give them a feel of the difference in the community of what they will need going forward.
Well, it was also we asked them what they wanted to be, and we
went out and found those.
Come in so they can see if that's what they really wanted to do, and make them comfortable and see what they do behind the scenes of the job. So,
and identify this person is this close to me, and they went through such and such, and they did it. So if I put this effort.
Yes,
that's great.
And the other thing we were excited about, we were recruiting through the school systems. So we would go like to middle schools and high schools. So one day we found out that the females who are actually attending high school and from 11th to graduation, they will be accredited towards their graduation.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah, so that was very good. They would have to participate and do, was it 20 or 30 hours?
I think we it was 20.
20 hours. And as I said, that would be accredited towards their graduation requirements. So.
Okay, so that's accredited, and then does it depend on what school they go to? Which schools have recognized this?
Central High School was the only one so far.
Okay.
But as I said, it was a great program because two of the females left and moved to France, and wrote us back and told us that they're so excited. They've been through the program, and that's one of the reasons why we've decided also to have the graduation ceremony, because it's basically giving them that extra push to say that you went through this program. The program is 12 weeks. We do 12 weeks for each session. Okay. You went through this, and you deserve to have that diploma. You deserve to have a graduation, just like you would do if you're at school. You really accomplish something else in your life.
Yeah, that's 12 weeks of your life too. That's a commitment in itself. Yeah,
and it was one day of the week too, but it's every week they would call us. The program's still going. I'm like, yeah, of course. They just basically could not wait. Every week, and we would pick some of the girls up also too, so to make sure they got to the program.
And it's tough when you want something, but you don't have a way to get to it. So you're just like, I wish that there was this type of program, and you both have provided that. So,
correct. Yes.
And it sounds like it's taking off, and sometimes I know a lot of places they need to see consistency, like we were talking about. I'm sure other schools will consider it in the future. I'm sure.
Definitely, yes. We had a call, I would say, about a week ago, and that's why I'm excited that the program will begin our third cohort June 1st, because we did have a call from a female that I believe she's at classical. Okay. So we were not tied into classical, so that's pretty big for us because
networking.
We get a lot of girls from Central High School, so.
But now it's starting to branch off and take off.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yes. So you were talking about advocacy in the way of are we talking about like domestic violence, like people that have gone through that? And so how does that work in the program?
So what I'm trying to do basically within the program, as far as not only just teaching them everyday things.
Skills in school and resume,
we would like to make sure that we are there to advocate as I said, due to what was going on with Essence, as a mother, you feel like you're there, like you just do everything that you need to as far as with your child. And as I said, I feel that, I couldn't save Essence from that particular incident with the abuse. So I want to, incorporate that into the program so that way that we could either prevent it or we could support them if they're actually going through, that type of situation.
Yeah, because some people don't like to speak out. So if they hear about the program, they'll feel more comfortable because some kids don't even like to talk to their parents about stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
And better to talk to strangers for some reason.
Or it's
because I was like that growing up.
Yeah. So. And even just fear of what will happen if they leave the person. Right. And especially like living in the same state also, I would think could put them at risk.
Yes.
So at least there's a safe place, and then you have professionals that know, that are advocates. Okay.
And we did have a professional that did come and speak one day. She did go through domestic violence for over 5 years, and it was amazing because, like we said, you don't want to talk to your parents. So unbeknown to us, there was a female that actually was being battered. By someone, and she took the steps. She came forward. She called my daughter to the side and told her, what she was going through, and she actually got help out of that situation. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, to me, if it's just that one, I don't care if it's one, per year. That's one more life that we've absolutely saved and possibly taken her out of a situation that could have ended up in a bad situation. So,
and what do you think? Because I'm sure there's parents that are going to be listening to this. what do you think is uncomfortable for children to talk to their parents about this? I mean, we talked about safety, which would be kind of a different piece, but maybe both of you want to talk about that so they have some insight.
Well, for myself, as far as with Essence, I feel that because of the fact that we did talk about a lot of things, and she just had it in her heart and mind. He was an older gentleman, and I believe that she just had that connection, that it was just so, she was so much in love that, mommy doesn't understand. Mommy doesn't know that, I love this man. And when I would talk to her, I feel that maybe she thought that I was like going against how she felt. So, it probably drew her a little bit closer to him. And then at one point I would find out that he would say things like, oh, if you tell your mother there's going to be problems with her. So as far as being, my daughter, she didn't want that. And, and you know what I mean?
See.
So it's like the mind manipulation.
Absolutely.
Correct. So as far as a parent, I feel that, you just have to keep talking, keep pushing, because when I did finally find out one day, I got a phone call saying that she was on Elmwood Avenue, and someone had saw her get hit. So I went over, I spoke to her, and I asked her what happened. And
this was in public that this happened?
Correct.
Or?
Yes,
oh,
ma'am.
okay.
This was
and
okay. Like maybe about 15 other people. And like I said, someone just got tired of it and called me.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I spoke to her and I asked her. And, at first she was okay with it. I called the police, and the police got there and she was okay with it. But for some reason, I don't know, what it was or how he did it. She didn't want to talk to the police anymore. So I tried. I spoke to the officer, and unfortunately, his words were, she's an adult.
She's an adult,
and this is a situation that she has to want and come forward for. And I just kept asking, well, could you give me some sort of advocate that I could speak to? He gave me a flyer and called it a day. And that was the end of it. So that's another thing that I think we need to work around and find more ways to advocate for. Even as a parent, if you see this and you want to help, we should be able to have some way that we could try to step in.
Absolutely.
And help out, especially when, somebody wants it, but then all of a sudden they're afraid.
Yeah.
So,
and the police, and not to get on police by any means, because I know, the law is so tricky, but police know that it's a mind manipulation thing.
Right.
Like we all, and from the behavioral health aspect, like we're all aware of that, but there are these laws that kind of make it difficult to advocate for your child or sister or whoever the person is.
Exactly. So
us as children, we don't like to listen to our parents. That's where that comes in. So, parents' advice is the best, I'm telling you. I learned the hard way. So I did. I'm telling you, we're definitely hard-headed when it comes to listening to our parents. So.
And then once we get into it, it's hard to be like, oh, okay, mom is right. Then you have to
I'd be like, mom, see, I should have listened to you. Because me and my mom were very close. So,
and that's a good thing.
We talk about everything.
Sometimes you do have, a child that, may say, yeah, you're right.
And that was me.
But like you said, on the other hand, there are children that feel that, they need that other ear. They don't want to feel like they have to come to their mom and tell their mom a situation.
Well, maybe
like
they don't want to be judged by their mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the kid might be like, well, my mom's probably gonna look at me different.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. Well, as a child, which I'm obviously older, but I'm saying like speaking for as a child, I feel like they probably are embarrassed or don't want to tell their parents everything. So
it's a unique situation.
It makes it easier to talk to somebody you don't know.
Agreed.
So that's why we feel that, through the program, even if you don't feel like you want to talk to your parent, our program is strictly confidential. We do have our
papers.
They have to sign a confidentiality agreement before even entering into the program, because, that's one of the biggest issues. If you feel like you don't have that, confidentiality and you have no trust, then there's no reason to bother. So
definitely not.
That's one of our criteria with the program.
Yeah, there's a consent form, a confidentiality form. What else do we have in the packet?
Just basic and we
Stuff
try to
about
get
themselves.
the person. We want to know the person from their mouth.
Yeah,
We
so
don't
we have
want
a
to
little
just come
paper.
into the program and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. We have them to fill out a personal data sheet that gives us their interest of what they like, you know, what they would like to learn. So we try to, you know, have an outline of how we would run the
And we
program.
also celebrate every last girl's birthday too.
Oh yeah, that's
When
the
it's-
fun part.
yeah.
Yes,
that
we
is
ask for their
fun.
birthdays. And
We had one girl, her birthday was my sister's birthday, so it was just like one big celebration that day.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, she loved
really
it.
beautiful.
It sounds like a sisterhood, and I think that that's great, and you're empowering women, younger women, to just reach for more. What do you think? So it seems like things are going well.
Yes.
So what are maybe some hiccups that have happened along the way?
As I said, the basic thing is the funding. The funding is the hardest,
trying to navigate around that.
Right,
Okay.
the hardest part of it. As far as anything else, I believe it hasn't been any hiccups because even without the funding, we've had people that would step in and they donate. Say for example, if we were going to that day get their nails done and we didn't have the funds, we have people that would pitch in and make sure we get that done. We have a lot of community members that have stepped up and helped us along the way. We have people like Kobe Dennis, Archie Johnson, Mary Longo, Mary Ann Fonseca, which is part of We Run This Town, the RIT.
I think I know her daughter maybe or a relative.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so you work with them?
Yes, and Anthony Sanders. So when we first started the program, they donated backpacks with all the information, pens, their notebooks, everything that we needed to actually, start the program. That was all donated. So we do have their support, But as I said, it would be a lot easier with the funding because then that way we know that the program is going to continue and run smoothly.
And focus on the important part, which is the girls. Correct. And the connection piece and getting the story out there because marketing does hold up like a whole,
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And funding, it does.
Right.
Okay, so that's your program and how long after her passing did you decide that you want to because it seems like a lot of...
Was it a year or two?
Yeah, it took me a year.
A lot of
actually.
planning.
Yeah,
okay.
It took a year because like I said, I honestly can say I had like so much anger. I didn't want to do anything. Like I basically felt like, no one was there when she was taken. So why am I going to do anything
for anyone?
So,
yeah.
And as I said, once I got out and I kept seeing, death after death and watching the news and just being out in the community. And like I said, I've watched Kobe. He's mentored me to show me, there is a way to change this around. And that year went by and we just jumped right in and we're trying to keep going.
I know.
Well, we could say we have a little guy that helps us, which is our son. So
that's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That motivated us too.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's 11. Yeah. So
so you said you were really angry, understandably so, and someone kind of came to you and was like, you should do this. But
Yes, ma'am.
Why was it that person, do you think, that it clicked?
Because I watched him as we were, going through and just to see the things that he was doing in the community and how people responded and how they, respected what he was trying to do. And what he was reaching for is exactly what I was angry about. He wants to change the community. He wants the youth to get off the streets. He wants all positivity. So I took that as,
like a sign.
you have to do this because
motivation.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of that motivation to say, all right, this needs to be done, and the only way you're going to do it is if you get out there and do it. So,
and you're speaking from experience versus someone just kind of advocating
correct.
because they're
Yes,
interested.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so the person that she was dating, like, what happens with that? Is there like a no contact order? Like, how do you? Because if he even lives in Rhode Island still. Like,
so unfortunately, the thing with him is he did not feel as though that he wanted to go to the police and take the stand as far as telling who did it.
Oh.
So 2 weeks after that happened, he strangled another female. And fortunately, she lived. But he is in jail for felony strangulation for 8 years. So to me, this was the cycle. And this is where it comes back to, I feel that as a parent, I should have been able to get out there and advocate for my daughter, because even though she was murdered, she still could have been murdered by his hands.
True.
That could have led to her demise also. And that's where I feel like, I don't know, I just feel as far as with him, it's almost like he's tippy-toeing through life without any consequences. Everything that he's done, and it's actually not the first death that he's responsible for. He has 4 other deaths that he's been involved with. So I'm just, it brings me to a place where I'm saying we have to find a way. Number one, we have to do something with domestic violence, and we have to do something to make stricter gun laws, because it's just an instance like that where I say he basically was bullying her, bullying her to love him and to do as he said. Yeah. So it's just so many different factors. Different factors that's in there that I feel we really need to work on. So I've also collaborated with the domestic violence unit. I'm with the Women's Coalition for Domestic Violence, Moms Demand Action, and Every Town Survivors. So that way, I can get out there and have my voice heard on that behalf.
On another platform.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So then, and for parents that are listening, what are some signs like that you're now seeing and seeing? I'm sure the women that have come and participated in your program perhaps have talked about signs of these types of men.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it is pattern thinking, or what we've picked up on definitely is that with domestic violence, there is definitely pattern thinking. They learned it from somewhere, and that's why it doesn't stop. They see, okay, this happened, but it continues to happen. So what are some signs for parents for the other half? If you see your if you see your daughter or son dating a certain type of person.
To me, it's the way that. For instance, one time she began working.
Okay.
And she was doing very well. She was going to work every day. She would come home, relax, and then he came back in the picture. For some reason, he had stepped away, and he came back in the picture. And as soon as he came back in the picture, her ways changed. She would miss work sometime. She just basically seemed like she was, I wouldn't say unhappy, but her persona changed. She didn't have the same happy-go-lucky persona that she had, because with our family, Essence was the one that would always get you laughing. She would be the one that would come in and make everybody, like, if you're having a bad day, she's going to make you have a good day. She was the one that always pulled all the pranks and, did those type of things. So when you look at her and see that those type of things changed, I knew something was wrong, but I just... like I said, I'm saying she's growing up. Yeah.
Stress of life.
She could be going through things that, the normal everyday thing. Not knowing that it could have been a situation where he just hit her. Or maybe he just verbally abused her, because he also would do that, from what I was told. Because I was told that they used to be out in public with friends, and they could tell just by the way he spoke to her that, like tell her she wasn't doing this right, or something's not right, or you're going to do this, just the battering with the mouth. So I would just say you have to basically just pay attention to your child's persona. Just if you see changes in, anything that is normal for her or him, you just have to try your hardest to either advocate for her or try to get someone that can advocate for her.
And mentor,
Correct. And unfortunately, she did have a lot of friends that did know that was going
You're
on.
telling me.
Yeah. So my thing is, it's okay to be a friend. It's okay to have that sort of loyalty. But when it comes to abuse, I think you have to learn to draw the line and say, I'd much rather be your friend and speak up than be your friend, and you may not be here for me to be your friend. So that's what I would say to the parents, just to please try your hardest to, pay attention to your child's persona and see if you see any changes. Just
Definitely.
Reach out and try to see what's going on.
And it sounds like you're also saying listen to your gut, because your gut was saying something's wrong, but I don't know.
But I'm not
I don't
sure.
know what it is, but something is
exactly
off.
Just knowing her, just knowing how she is, and then to see something different. And like I said, maybe just try. Don't kind of like push off, like I said, just to think that it's just everyday stress, because sometimes it's not. It's not everyday stress. It's other things going on. So.
But we don't want to think those things of our family members, that, like, why would you assume that that's happening?
Right.
I feel like that is, like you said, the last thing that you would think would be.
Right. And he was very good at it, because he was one of those, like, he would have that persona where he would smile when he comes over. Hi, how are you? And, things like that. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to pick it up that that's his personality. This is what he's doing. So he was very conniving with it. He knew how to, manipulate in the ways that he needed to in order to keep you involved with him.
So I also, as we wrap up, I want to talk about, misconceptions with domestic violence. So we were talking about, or you were talking about, verbal abuse as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So verbal abuse is definitely a misconception. What other misconceptions have you seen?
It doesn't, as we always said, it's not always physical, it's mental. It could be with finances. I remember a time, one day she had asked me for, I think it was $100. She was getting her apartment. And so I said, I thought you said that the person was going to give it to you. And she was like, oh no, he changed his mind. But in the end, come to find out, he didn't want to give her the money because he didn't want her to have the apartment. He wanted her to live with him and be under him, so that way he could monitor and control everything that she did. So it's not only, just the physical and the mental. It could be finances. It can be, as I said, saying he'll do something with the family. He may intimidate her that way.
Or
it
something
could be,
with her car.
Yeah, just property, anything. It could be other things. It's just you can't just focus on that. So there's a lot of things that you really do have to look for. And like we said, it's sad that you have to take that time to look for those type of things. But those are some of the things that's incorporated with the violence.
And do you feel like as women of color, it's different, the domestic violence, or how people perceive us involved with domestic violence?
Yeah, because as far as with African-American females, the first thing they say is, okay, well, she hooked up with that hoodlum. She should have stayed away from him. You know how these guys are. They don't work. They don't have this. They don't have that. Our men, unfortunately, have that sort of persona already. They have that stereotype.
Yeah.
That they already have that negativity to them. So it is harder for African American women because they probably feel like they're not picking the right person, or they don't have the right goals to go out and get someone who's decent. So we automatically have that stereotype where we have that label. It's hard.
Like you should have known because you watch TV, and it's like, well, we're not even displayed appropriately on TV.
Right,
we
right.
have
Well,
this one
fake on TV.
exactly.
So.
But
and we have to learn it's not just African American women. It's all women. All women are being battered, as we could see. In the news just last year. A majority of the women were not African American. They were of another ethnicity. So it is everyone, and everyone does have bad apples. It's not just African American men that don't work. They don't, have this certain thing to them. It's all nationalities. It's not just us. So
yeah, and that could be a misconception in itself.
Correct.
Like someone might say, okay, well, I'm not this type of race or ethnicity, so this can't be abuse because what I see on TV isn't.
That's not the way it's portrayed. Correct.
Exactly. Okay, so if people are interested in getting involved, where can they find you on social media? And
yes, we are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We also are located at Roger Williams University. That's 1 Empire Street, Providence, Rhode Island. We're here every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. New cohort of women will be starting June 1st. And I do have a telephone number on our Facebook page where we can be reached, and we do have emails attached to that.
We have the Memorial Foundation page.
Yes. So we also have a page set up on Facebook, which is called the Essence T. Christal Memorial Foundation, and we do have a Essence T. Christal Youth Female Empowerment Program page. So
great. Well, thank you both so much for coming on my show. I think that this topic is important. I just wanted to give you a voice for that. And I wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And that concludes another exciting episode of The Business of Soul Searching. If the content discussed in this podcast interests you, please contact me at thebusinessofsoulsearching@gmail.com. Also, make sure you subscribe. And most importantly, take a calculated risk this week. Don't do it for me, do it for you.